Evening, gang. Welcome to the end of August. Yes, the end of August. It's Wednesday, the 31st of August, 2022. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's little chat show coming to you from Bracknell in Berkshire. It's been a nice day here. We had a bit of sunshine. It was dreary, and first thing in the morning it was quite dreary. I walked up into the swimming pool. It was all overcast and horrible. Got to the pool, done my lengths, and came back out again. Oh no, I went for a litter pick today. I'm finding something new on the litter picking. It's funny, as I've been doing this about 2.5 years now, a bit of litter picking whenever I want, really. I usually do about 3 or 4 hours a week, really, when I think about it. Mostly on a Saturday. I've got a specific route I do on a Saturday. Every Saturday I do it without fail. And the latest, so we've had masks. That was a big problem during the pandemic. Endless masks. Hardly find any of those now, which is great. It's just beyond me how people just take off and just chuck it on the floor. But they do the same with everything else. Coke cans, plastic bottles, which are all still there, right? Then recently I discovered disposable electronic cigarettes. Now, I don't think these have been out long. Perhaps you smoke one of them yourself, these vaping things, right? I don't know if you smoke one of these yourself, but I started finding those not long ago, a couple of months ago, really. You find either the whole thing chucked on the side or in the road, a squash one. And when I look at those, I'm sure there's like recyclable bits in there because it's got wires and batteries, and I don't know if there's anything else in there. That must be recyclable in there, worth money to someone. But nevertheless, that was the most recent thing. And now I'm starting to find gas canisters. Now, I've been finding the little silver ones for ages. You know, a couple of years. I've always found these little silver ones. Generally, you don't find one. You'll find several, all chucked by the side of the road or in the bushes. And they're quite easy to see because they shine, right? But more recently, I'm now finding these. Look at the size of this blooming thing. Now you can see how big that is with my hand on there. I'm finding these now. That's the second one I've found. When I found the first one, I thought, oh, that's an unusual find. But once you've found 2 or 3, you think, this is a new item that the kids are obviously using and chucking out the side of their blooming as they're walking along, or perhaps having little parties with their various friends and this, that and the other. And this is a relatively new thing. I belong to a little picking group on Facebook for sort of this area. Actually, it's quite a large area, Berkshire, Hants and places like that. So I put a picture of that on there, and according to various other people, this is quite a common find where they are now. You know, I mean, one bloke replied here, one lady, she found loads of them. Someone else found 5 all in one place. Someone else found 7 the other day, and they are quite large. Not only are they large, they're heavy. When you're carrying one of those red, we get special red bags here from the council with our volunteers. If you get just one of those in a bag, it's really heavy. You know, so that's an interest. I wonder what it'll be next. Why can't people just chuck away £50 notes and let me find those instead? Just a suggestion. Anyway, if you're new to the show, welcome along. You can join in at any time. Best way to join in is by the text number up there, 07451 287 337 is my text number. 07451 287 337. It'll only work from a UK number, or otherwise in the chat box, and I'll dip in and out of the chat box throughout the course of the show. Sometimes I miss messages in the chat box because everyone's talking to each other as well. Don't worry about that. Just put it again, and I'm sure I'll notice it at some point. All right, let's say hello to some of you who take the time and trouble to text in on this Wednesday night. Hello to Gary Ross. Evening, Gary. How are you keeping on this fine Wednesday night? Hope all's well. And Gary the cat as well. I haven't seen Gary much recently. He popped over once last week, I think. It might be because I've run out of little treats, little biscuit things. You get a little packet in Aldi. I think he comes straight in and sits down at the cupboard where he knows they are. That's absolutely true, that is. Hello to Gary. Good evening to Vera from Vera's Choice in the Morning. Good evening, Vera. Hello to Paul in Ashford. Hello to, hello from Wimbledon, Paula in Ashford. I only know you now as Paula in Ashford. I'm sorry you've lost the Wimbledon. You can't hang on to that. If you've left the area, that's it, mate. You're Paul in Ashford now. Huh? Hello, Paul. Hello to John Parrish. Hello to Jason Hughes. And hello to the lovely Maureen. Good evening to you, Maureen, who's in London. Evening, Maureen. Oh, by the way, I've often mentioned to you, sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I've bought this product from Amazon, right? Feather and Down, it's called pillow spray. Anyone use anything like this? It's quite nice. I think it's actually helping. It's a lovely smell. The only thing is the first night I put too much on. I put my head down and pillow was all wet. I must have put too much on there. And it's made of lavender and chamomile. Is it chamomile? I think it's chamomile. Chamomile with calming lavender, chamomile and essential oils, it says there. And I got that from Amazon for under £5. And I've used it a couple of times now. Seems to be working quite well. I won't, let's have a look. I won't spray any in here, right? Because I might fall asleep during the show. I mean, it's bad enough when you lot fall asleep. When I fall asleep, it's terrible. The show finishes, all right? So anyone else use anything like this as a matter of interest? Very good evening to Fran Green. Evening to you, Fran. Welcome along to the show, Fran. Pop over into the chat box. We got OE. A very good evening to OE this evening. OE, OE, OE. Now, I know who OE is. I've got to tell you, over the years, people have different names on their YouTube channels. They do the same on TikTok. And then when you say, yeah, who are you? And then they come back with their actual name. And immediately you know who it is. The trouble is there's so many that you can't remember. You can't remember. So I know OE is someone I know and I can't remember who you are. Sorry, OE. So welcome to the show. Hello to Mandy Davenport. Hello to Kevin Woodruff. Evening, Kevin. Welcome to the show. Dan Woodhouse is in the Tides house. Is that everyone? Derek Martin over there in the Republic of Ireland. Evening to you, Derek. Greetings to you. I'm scrolling quickly. That's everyone, isn't it? That's everyone. So welcome along to the show today. And Mick Davenport just coming in there at the end there. All right. Here's a question for you. What noise do you really hate? I hope it's not none of any of my noises that I particularly like. You know, that's my cat noise. Cat. Do you like a cat noise or two? Is there any noise that you particularly hate? Think about it. Perhaps you live out in the country, do you? And you get that cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo in the morning. Do you get that? Cock-a-doodle-doo! George Bond is very good at doing a cockerel. Actually, I think I've got that here somewhere, haven't I? George Bond's cockerel. Just a minute. One moment, please. Let me refer to my music folder. Music, temporary music, shortcut. I think it's here somewhere. So here it is. George's. I won't tell you what the title it says on my screen of this is. Here we go. Anyway, George, go.
Cock-a-doo-doo! Cock-a-doo-doo!
Yeah, that's George's. I've got George's chicken as well.
Cock-a-doo-doo! Cock-a-doo-doo!
See, that's the remix there. I was done by my fair hands. That's George's cockerel and a chicken as well. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Just about. They are loud. If you've never heard one of those in real life, they are really loud. Cockerels in the morning. Cock-a-doodle-doo! There's no way you can sleep through that. Awful. Is there any noise that you really hate? I've written some on here that I hate. The dentist's drill. Oh, who hates that? Zzz. It's like a high-pitched whine, isn't it? Well, you're sitting there in the way. Why can't they soundproof the room that the patient is being attacked in? You know? Why can't they have it? You know, like those rooms where they have sanitariums? You know, where they have mentally disturbed people and they've got all soundproof in it. Why can't we have this in a doctor's surgery, please? You never hear the person scream out in pain, though. Why is that? Have they got a sock in their mouth or something like that? I hate that noise. The drill in a dentist surgery. Hate that one. I hate the noise of a football being banged up against a wall. Any of you who live perhaps in a block of flats or something like that, and you're on that ground floor, and you're on the house on the end, you get kids outside with their foot, but constantly banging on your wall. That's a rather unpleasant noise, isn't it? I hate the noise, especially. I think my most hated noise is a grinder on concrete. You know, when they've got a piece of, like a paving slab or something like that, or tiles, and they cut it to size. I hate that noise. Zzz, like that it is. Funnily enough, a tree, wood, and a saw is fine. I don't have a problem with wood and a saw. That's quite a nice noise, right? Grinder on concrete. Oh, I do hate that noise. So they're my pet ones. That's probably my worst one, a grinder on concrete. What about you? Do you have any noises that you really hate as a matter of interest? Good evening to Diane Jeb there. Hello to you, Diane. Evening to you, Diane. Fran Green says, I hate it when people slop their mouths when eating. I think I do that a bit, to be honest, Fran. Only when I'm in private, You know, when you're at home, you don't really bother too much, do you? Do you have your dinner on your lap or something like that? Or do you go to a table? I have mine on my lap, I've dropped it once before. Do you remember that a few weeks ago? I dropped my dinner on the carpet and I scraped. It was chips, loads of tomato sauce on it, right? And I still haven't had the carpet cleaned. I must get that. I've got a Vax carpet cleaner. I must do that soon, before the cold weather gets in, because there's marks where I sit due to the dropped dinner some weeks ago. I dropped it all on the floor. I picked it all up, put it back on the plate and ate it. Don't care. Don't care. No one watching. Don't care. Why worry about it? But I know what you mean. Actually, great nephew George hates that as well, Fran. I like that. Like bleating cows, aren't they? Don't care about anyone else. Horrible noise. You're quite right, Fran. Thank you, Fran. Anyone else? What's your most unfavourite noise? Do let us know. Text in 07451287337. Kevin. Hello to Kevin. Kevin says, when you're walking down the street passed by a motocross bike and they've taken the baffle out of the exhaust. Oh, God, yeah. Awful. They don't just do that round here to bikes. There's a Mini that goes around. What's all that about? Why do they have to create so much bleeding noise? There's a Mini that goes around here with that on. You would think there's a lot more drivers who have done that than actually have, because they don't know when to change gear. How many times have you heard them? They can't get out of that first gear, can they? Hello? Change the gear, dear. Not a clue. Oh, no, there's another noise I hate. Up at the swimming pool gym where I go to, right, that's the village gym in Bracknell, they have a little spin dryer there. Right? When you finish, you go in your shower, you have your shower, go to the spin dryer with your shorts or your trunks, whatever. You put them in the spin dryer and you put this lid down and hold it down. And you can hear when it's finished. And as soon as it goes like that, I automatically know it's finished. Like changing the gears. You know automatically in your head when it's time to change that gear. Like the buses. You know. Except people don't. They don't. And that really annoys me. I'll be in the shower because everyone in there can hear this machine. Right? And you can hear it starting to struggle. But some people have worked out if they just take their hand off the thing and push it back down again, it restarts the timer, whatever it is on there. It doesn't stop automatically, you see, after 10 seconds. In actual fact, it's 8 seconds. I counted it. It's 8 seconds before the tone changes. It doesn't do that. I just ran out of breath then, you see, so I'll have to do it in 2 parts. And then you know to take your hand off it, except they don't. And this thing, it goes on and on and on. They're on this bloody thing for about 10 minutes. It ain't going to get any drier, mate. Dear me. Awful. Awful noise. So that's another noise that I hate there. There is another noise that links into a story, which I'll tell you in a minute. Gary Ross says, I hate listening to Nicola Sturgeon screeching on the telly. Yeah, I think most people do. Poor Nicola. What is she saying? Oh, because we don't know down here. You know. Bring back subtitles on page 888 of CFAX. That's what I say. God. Dan Woodhouse says he hates the sound of his own voice. You must be joking, Dan. You can't get you off the phone once you've started. You must be... I heard you on Ross Patel's excellent show last night. On Reach on Air. On and on. What were you going on about, dear? Huh? I hate that. You see, have you seen this message here? I hate the sound of my own voice. God's sake, that's a lie. A sin in the face of God. Thank you, Dan. Gary says, our Lacey, the staffy biting her nails. Oh, that's another one. And my mate does that. He comes round here and we're watching a film and suddenly I hear this clicking noise. Why do people... Oh, no, I can't bear it. Can't bear a clicking noise. What sound do you really hate, boys and girls? Dan says the noise of electric carvers. Oh, well, you don't want to go into a mortuary then, or one of those places. What are they called? Where they do... they chop up the body to see what went wrong. What's that? Post-mortem. Because they're all electric saws in there, my dear. Sawing bits off you, having a look inside, Dan. Awful noise. Anyone else here? Neighbours who mow their lawn at 7 a.m. when they've got all day to do it. Do they really do that where you are? Oh, that's a bit much, isn't it? But the smell's nice. The smell's nice. Funnily enough, with the incredible summer that we've had, this has been a fantastic summer for weather, isn't it? I don't know if I told you on the last show. My boiler went off in April. April, May, June, July, August. Yeah. They'll all the newspapers will be out. So I guarantee you, in the next couple of weeks, the newspapers will be telling us, after the incredible summer, we will have the coldest winter for 500 years. That's coming up in the paper soon. I haven't seen it yet. Don't worry. I'll let you know as soon as I see it, all right? Sorry, just a minute. Did I? Yeah, the neighbours who mow their lawn. Yeah, we don't really have anyone here that does that, to be honest. Certainly myself and my neighbour, or her, or no one sort of does their lawn round there. But the smell is nice. Oh, that's where I was going with that. Yeah, but because of the incredible summer we had, and very dry, of course, summer, I've only cut the lawn about 3 times. That's it. Honestly, because it was all dead. First of all, it seems to stop growing, doesn't it? And then it dies. I've hardly cut about 3 times this summer. I nearly sent the lawnmower back and got a refund off it. Gary Ross doesn't like people slurping their tea or coffee. Like this. Is that like this? Is it like this? Listen. Look. Right. I'm going to do a quick impression now of a pop star. See if you can guess who this is. Right? Ready? Any idea who that was? It's Whitney Houston in the bath. Don't care. I don't care. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. I don't care anymore. Don't care. People slurping the tea. Mick Davenport, his most hated noise is Barry Manilow. I suspect he hates you, actually, Mick. There he is, in his multi-million-pound house in Palm Springs, with that, as you say, terrible voice of his. You know, where you living? Huh? What do you do on a Saturday night when Barry Manilow is standing on that stage with thousands of fans worshipping him? And what has he got on? About 10 years on you? He's 74. Derek Martin hates it when someone scrapes a plate with a fork when eating. It's a knife. It's a knife, Derek. Get a knife and scrape it to the side. Oh! Like the old chalk on a blackboard. John Parrish, chalk on a blackboard. Let's just scroll to the bottom. Mark Stone's there. Hello, Mark. Hello to Peter Wright joining us this evening. George Bond is there. Evening to George Bond. Anyone else? Anyone else? Let's have a look there. Back to the text messages. Greg. Good evening to you, Greg, who says, a noise I hate is next door slamming their wheelie bin lid open and closed. Apart from that, it's very quiet round here. We do like a bit of peace and quiet here. And unfortunately, I don't hear silence anymore because I've got tinnitus. I can ignore it most of the time, but I don't hear silence anymore. It's something you don't really think about when you're DJing. They all tell you to put earplugs in and out. When you put earplugs in when you're DJing, you can't really do the job properly because you can't hear the beats. You know, there we are. One of those things, isn't it? All right. Hello to Paul in Ashford, who says he went for a haircut Monday afternoon. First time at the Turkish barbers in town. Oh, they're so good at doing haircuts. Did you get the little flame? See, that's what I'm missing. I've got a few hairs growing out my ears. I've got this thing, but it don't really do it properly. I don't know if I miss the hairs or not. Let me just, see, I can feel hairs there now. He does that flame thing, very good. And they waft it. I mean, they don't hold the flame over your ear for what. I've just cut my hair. Did you notice? No one's noticed. Every 2 weeks, I do it myself now. I've been doing it myself for about 2.5 years. One of those 16 pounds clippers. Comes out all right, doesn't it? But one of the things I can't do is the flame. I have tried it with a lighter. Well, I nearly burnt my bleeding ear off. Knife hurt. It's very... Literally, you have to flick it like that a couple of times, and you can actually smell the hairs in your ears burning out. Anyway, Paul's been to a Turkish barber's. He was great. When he asks, so what do you do? I replied, I'm retired. And he said, wow, what age are you? I said, 56. He said, you don't look that age. Happy days, Paul. Happy days. Then when I went to pay, I handed over the fee plus a tip. And he said, no, I charge you the OAP rate. I haven't been so miffed in years. Well, I told you the other week, that's what my nephew's wife did to me at a seal sanctuary or something like that in Skegness. She paid me in as the OAP's rate. I wouldn't mind, but he didn't even question it, the bloke behind the till. Didn't even question it. Very disappointing. Never mind, Paul. You're younger than me, dear. 60 next year. That's me. the over sixes club. Gosh. Good. Excellent. So that's that. Now, one of the other noises that I came across last Thursday, and my God, it's so loud, it's painful. Now, I have experienced this before on, I think, Victoria Line trains. But last week, I had the pleasure of going for the first time on the Jubilee line. And it's a weird thing, actually, you know, the Jubilee line. And I sat there, I got on this train, the doors opened, and on the Jubilee line, and one of the others, Elizabeth line, the new one, the Elizabeth line. On those trains, they got like double doors. You know, so if you want to die by jumping onto the track below, you can't do that because they've got these plastic doors, right? They're on the platforms. They've got these doors on the platform like that and the doors on the train. And the train, miraculously, right, when it stops, it lines up exactly with the doors. The two doors line up. How do they do that? Isn't that clever? I'm sure there's a really easy explanation of that, but I think that's really clever. So the train comes along. See, the train comes along like that. Right, and there's the doors. So there's the doors. Right, hang on a minute. Let's draw you a diagram. Let's draw a diagram so you can understand it. Because there'll be people thinking, oh, what's he going on about like that? Or something like that, wouldn't he? They'll be going on like that. Let me just draw the diagram for you. 1 minute. Let me get another piece of paper here. 1 minute. There we are. Yeah. So say that is the station, right? So that's the station, and here comes the train. Oh no, so that's. Hang on a minute. What am I doing here? Yeah. Of course, it's the other way round, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm thinking. When I look at my image in front of me, it's as it is rather than a mirror image, right? So here we go. So there's the platform doors, right? And there's the doors of the train. So this train comes along. And, I love that sound. I just sitting there in a tube station. And first of all, you get the wind. You don't hear anything. Suddenly, there's this blast of wind coming through the tunnels on the underground. And then you hear it. As it comes through, it gets louder as it comes out of that little hole. And here comes the train. And just say this is the Jubilee line. And they line up perfectly. And the doors open and you get on the train, you see? 2 doors. Therefore, and then when the train goes, these 2 doors are closed then, you see? They're closed and then no one can jump on the train. How much does that cost? How much extra did that cost to do rather than not having the plastic doors there altogether? I'm sorry, if people want to jump on the line, that's entirely up to them, my love. Move the body as quickly as possible so that we can all get on with our lives. Dear me. But anyway, so that's the doors. And I went from Waterloo to Stratford on this Jubilee line. As the train from Bracknell comes in at Waterloo, platform 22, 23, 24 or 25. One of those platforms it comes in. The Jubilee line underground train is right down the other end of Waterloo. Couldn't be any further. Seriously, that's how far it is. But that's okay because they come along every few minutes. So got on this train, the doors closed, and I think there's about 6, 7 or 8 stations, right? Anyway, so off it goes. And it goes into the tunnel. And it's really fast. I mean, really fast in that tunnel. And it's so loud. In that train, it is painful. I'm not joking. It's not just loud, it's painfully loud on the oldest. No wonder everyone's there. They've all got the bleeding headphones on. Everyone's in their phone, aren't they? No one's looking at each other. I'm looking around. You know, I don't sit on my bleeding phone all the time. I like to see what's going on. You know, it might be a fit lad to look at. You know, mightn't there? You know, sitting opposite me. You know, you're sitting there. It doesn't really work for the older gays, but the younger gays, they pick up on the tube. I'm serious. I'm serious. You know, you watch them. They're like this, right, like that. They're in their phone, and they might look up. They might look up. I'm going to tell you exactly. This is a secret, a gay secret, right? They're in it. And you know, we've got Grindr, which is like a gay dating app, right? So they look up. If they see a fit lad on there, they quickly open their Grindr thing, right? Quickly open that to see if the person that they fancy is also open theirs. And it's got a little face on there, and you'd be able to tell who it is. That's if they put a face. If you're on a dating app, here's a bit of advice. Never, ever meet someone who is a black box. When I say a black box, that means no photograph. Never, ever meet someone... listen, everyone can take photos. Don't come on, I can't take a photograph. No, you're ugly. You're ugly. That's why your picture isn't on there. Never, ever meet anyone on Grindr who hasn't got a photo on. Because they're either ugly or lying. Yeah, I'm 25 years old. Then you meet them and they're sort of my age. Who wants to ever meet anyone my age? Exactly. So that's what they do on the train. Yeah, they look up like that. They look up like that. Right. And they might make eye contact. And then the other one will fire it up and see if they're both there. Might send them as a hi, and onward. There's a little secret for you there. What my mate? Why he was on the tube? He's much younger than me, 35, but he looks like he's 25, right? He was on the train, sitting there, and there was another lad the other side, and he had this, I don't know, some sort of program on there, and he texted a message, basically, would you like? That's all I'm saying. Would you like? And he had this message just like that, casually, outrageous for the other one to read on the other side of the streets. Anyway, so we digress. So I'm on this train, and it is so loud. It is painfully loud as it goes, I think, round corners and things like screeching. It's hell. And I was saying that to someone the other day. And they said, you would have thought London Underground done something about that. Believe me, I'm sure they tried. Presumably there's no answer to that. Because what you've got is a very loud train in a very confined space. So it's going to be loud, isn't it? It's going to be really loud. So you've probably, if you've ever heard that, certainly the Victoria line is like that. Don't know about some of the other... District line's not like that. I've never been, I don't think, on the District line train, and it's really loud. Must be the confined space. Painfully loud. Painfully loud. Fran says, here, another thing I hate is my next door neighbour at 6:30 in the morning banging his glass bin open and throwing his bottles in from a great height. You know, Fran and someone with the grass cutting, that was Jason, wasn't it? You would think they have a little bit more respect for people, wouldn't they? Because, as I've said before, certainly at the caravan, when I'm doing my shows from the caravan, I'd be horrified if I interfered with someone's evening or morning or whatever. You know, if it was that loud and it bothered someone perhaps in the caravan next to me or something like that. But people are just not bothered, are they? They're not bothered. I'll do what I like mentality. There's so many of those around, isn't there? You know, they just do what they want. They don't care about anyone else. For example, when I was doing that litter picking this morning, right? What did I pick up? A nappy. Another one. I picked up one the other week. A dirty, soiled nappy, complete with the wet wipes used to wipe the baby's arse as well. Casually chucked out of a window onto a grass verge. Dirty, filthy, disgusting peasants. That's what they are. What amazes me is when you go on some of these Facebook groups and you say something like that and people reply to, oh, but you don't know the story. Perhaps they were having a hard day. What, so they chuck a dirty, disgusting, filthy nappy out the car? I know it's smelly, but I'm sorry, that's what you get when you have a baby. Take some plastic bags with you. Oh, can't afford plastic bags. But you can afford disposable nappies, please. Don't give me that old one. Don't give me that old one. Dirty, filthy people. They don't care. They don't care. Fortunately, where I live here, people care. Where my caravan is, people care. It's very rare that I'm never, ever disturbed here. Never. I've got fantastic neighbours. All other neighbours all along here are all fantastic. You know, the whole thing could change if someone moved in. You never know what's going to happen. But we've been in this. I was the last one here, and I've been here 25 years now. I think it is. You know, it's fantastic, fantastic. There's a little bit of noise just out on the back path sometimes, but I've got double glazing and closed the window. Can't hear anything then. It doesn't go on for ages. You know, sometimes people perhaps coming down from back from a night out, young people generally, and they're a bit pissed up and walking down the back perhaps. Then in the morning I go and pick their cans up. And there is a school over there, and twice a day you hear noise, usually at about 10:30 in the morning. Playtime, playground is. I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. It's not next to my house. It's house, garden, bushes, path, wooded copse, and then to the right another path, some more bushes, school playground. But it's not an unpleasant sound. I couldn't say it bothers me ever. And again, even if I wanted to, I could just close the windows, then you can't hear it. End of. So it's lovely round here. But no, everyone respects everyone here. A very good evening to Shania on the Isle of Wight. Evening, Shania. Hello from the Sandown Illuminated Castle Carnival. Are you illuminated tonight, Shania? You need to get some of those little battery fairy lights and walk around with those on, my love. Perhaps you could wear some of them around your cassock at church. You know, around the edge. Are you on red and white or black and white? What cassocks have you got? You know the white one? Just down the bottom of the white one, you could sew around the hem some little fairy lights which would come on, you know, at various times. And when you sing the hymns, make them flash in time to the music. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? There's a Church of England hymn I really like at the moment. Greatness. Oh, hang on. That lad played it, didn't he? I sent it to you, Shania. Which one is it? Hang on a minute. Let me see I'll put it on my Dropbox. Where is it? One minute. Great is thy faithfulness. I really like that. I think that's a proddy hymn, isn't it? Great is thy faithfulness. I might do that one. I'll print it out and send it around to the choir, see if they can learn that. Shania says, we'll be watching the recording as cannot hear you with all the music. Well, why am I wasting my time trying to talk to you then? Thank you, Shania, for your kind message, my dear. Hello to Liam. There's DJ Coolio. DJ Coolio is on Reach on Air tonight at midnight. Do join him, okay? Young Liam there. Evening to Liam there. Good. Mark Stone. We said hello to Mark Stone, haven't we? There we are. Do what you do when you did what you did to me. Righty-ho. So the talking of the Jubilee line leads us nicely into me telling you that last week I was very lucky to go to the Abba Abattoir show, which is in London, quite near Stratford. And what a fantastic show. If you're listening to the radio show, you'll already know what I think about it. But we have a different audience on here. I know lots of people don't like the music in the morning, which is fine. We all have our little choices, don't we? We all have our preferences with music. But the ABBA show in London was absolutely astounding, I tell you. I left here at, I think, 3:30. I think I got the 3:30 train or the 4 o'clock train. I do like to travel by train into London. It's so much easier. I mean, it really is. You get to the platform. You know what time the train's going to come, right? I think it was 2 minutes past 4. I think it was. I got to the station about 3:30. I'm always too early. No, not up. About 4:15. About 4:15. Got to the station about 4:15, and I'd already got my tickets. Got on the platform, train due 4:01, train turns up 4:02, and then just get on there and sit down and relax, you know. Once again, most people are in there or tapping away on their blooming phones. I like to look out the window. You know, some really nice countryside between here and Waterloo. Ever so nice. Sunningdale is a nice place. I quite like it there. You know, Sunningdale. Very expensive houses. But like I've said, you know, if I was living somewhere in like Sunningdale, I'd have to get the blooming car out when I would go swimming or to the main shops, anything like that. You see, where I live here, I can walk everywhere. Don't really need a car. Seriously, don't really need a car living here. We can walk everywhere, to the supermarket, to the church, to the swimming pool, to the gym. Over in the forest, there's a beautiful beautiful forest I've got near here. Beautiful forest. And all that, you know, in somewhere like Sunningdale, very expensive, and you'd have to keep getting the car out. Anyway, so that thundered into London, got into Waterloo, got off at the platform there, walked down to the Jubilee train, got the Jubilee train, and got to Stratford. Now, from Stratford, I'd only got a ticket as far as Stratford, right? I could have got one all the way through, but I wasn't sure how that all worked. So I got the ticket at Stratford. Got to Stratford, got off the train there, off the Jubilee line. And then I'm looking around for the Docklands Light Railway, and I know that there's a Docklands Light Railway to the station called Pudding Mill Lane. Now, not everyone knows this. A lot of people go to the ABBA concert and they get off at Stratford and start walking. Well, I'm telling you, it's a 15, 20-minute walk. That's what I've been told. It's quite a long walk. And it was my very dear friend Ray Reynolds who told me, no, there's a station much, much closer, Pudding Mill Lane. I said, well, how do I get to that? He said, Docklands Light Railway from Stratford. Okay. So you get off at Stratford. Now, I must say, Stratford is a big station. There's a lot of different trains coming in there. And I'm looking down. Oh, there's DLR, Docklands Light Railway. So I went up the stairs. What's that? So I went up the stairs, and there we are, Docklands Light Railway, this direction, and it said there's a station, this way to wherever, that way. And there was another one, that way. There seemed to be three or four different directions it was travelling. I didn't know which one was which. I'm looking for something with a list of stations, and I also didn't know how many stations it was along. But eventually I found it. And there it was, Pudding Mill Lane. It was only one station. I thought, oh, that won't be very expensive. Right, now I'm looking around for a bleeding ticket machine. Okay, I found this bit complicated. Looking around for this. Where's the blooming ticket machine? I can't find. Is it? Well, who can I ask? And I'm looking around for like a member of staff. Couldn't find anyone. And then I got to the platform. Ticket machine over there. Right. So instead of having like a list of stations there, zone 1 to 3, zone 2 to... well, what do I want? Well, it said zone 1 to whatever. And I thought, well, that must be it. I'm only travelling in zone 1 if it's one platform, surely. And I pushed this button, £12.80. I thought, that can't be right. Not for one bleeding stop. And I remembered that I saw somewhere on the news some time ago. Remember, I might have told you this a couple of years ago, I think, that as well as using the Oyster card and that, now you can use your credit card to tap, right? So you don't need Oyster card. You just tap your credit card on this thing and it sucks the money straight out. Now, I didn't have my cards with me. I very rarely bring out any cards now. I do it all by phone. And the reason is I think it's much more secure, right? You lose your credit card. With this Wi-Fi pay type thing now, someone gets hold of that. Well, you can easily rack up thousands of pounds worth of bills in the space of a few minutes. Going from shop to shop, you'll have a McDonald's, tap that on there, bing, money come out, or buy a couple of tickets, bing, money come out. It's so easy. No pin to put in or anything. I don't like it. So I very rarely bring credit cards out, and even more rarely, I hardly ever bring out my debit card. The only time really I bring out that debit card is if I'm going to put money into a machine. That's it. Because that's even worse. I think, although they say, if you get done by fraud or something like that, they put the money straight in fairly quickly. And I have heard people that have been scammed somehow, and they report it and the money goes back into their account fairly quickly. Not everyone. I've also heard people that have had trouble getting their money back. So I rarely bring my cards out, and I use my phone. And the reason I use my phone is that when you tap it, it requires you to put your thumbprint on the bottom for the transaction to take place. So that's what I do. So I found one of those tapping things. I'd gone past two of them, one each side there was. I found this tapping thing. So I've gone to this tapping thing and I thought, well, what have I got to lose? So I went like that and I put my finger on it and it went bing and it said card accepted. Actually, I don't know what I've been charged yet, so we'll find that out in a minute. I'll have a look, right? So you tap it in and there's a little sign on there that says make sure you tap in at the other end. And I still wasn't sure that I'd done the right thing. So I said, excuse me, to this lady who was walking past, have I done right? I've tapped this thing here. She said, yes, that's right. She said, make sure you tap out at the other end. If you forget, you won't get fined or anything, but if you forget, you will be charged for the whole journey rather than just one stop. Okay, thank you very much. So that was fine. So Docklands Light Railway comes like, no drivers. It's all automatic. There's no drivers on there, mate. You see, this is the thing with the tubes, right? They don't need drivers anymore. Okay, I don't think you could instantly get rid of them and everything would be automatic. You've got to automate the trains first. I very much doubt that there's equipment on the underground trains that are there, perhaps on some of the newer ones, but I doubt that there's equipment on like the district line and older trains at the moment that could instantly make them automatic. That would have to be done. And this is what the business with the train drivers is, you see. They're on a limited time on these trains and they're stretching out for as long as they can. I think the government missed an opportunity during the pandemic. They could have closed down all those trains, got all this equipment together, shoved it on the planes and made them all automatic and sacked all the train drivers, and then we wouldn't have to be going on strike all the time, would we? All these things can be automatic now. Have you been to the New York subway? There's no drivers on there. No drivers, all automatic. Docklands Light Railway, no drivers, all automatic. And efficient, so efficient. This train comes along. Ooh, doors open. On you get. And I was only going one stop. So I got out at the other end, Pudding Mill Lane, right? And this is how close the Abba Arena is, okay? So you get off there, walk down the platform. I looked for the tippy-tappy thing. Oh, yeah, let's find out what it was. Let's find out what I was charged. Remember, I looked at the machine and I thought, £12.80, that can't be right. But actually, I'll be honest with you, if I'd not have found the tappy-tappy thing, I probably would have bought that ticket just to be on the safe side because I'd be petrified of being caught. Absolutely terrified of being caught without a ticket on the train. It's like when I go shopping, These people just randomly go shoplifting every single day of their bleeding lives for food. I would be terrified of being caught. Why aren't people afraid of that anymore? They're just not scared, are they? You see them jump barriers and things like that, don't they? Not that there were barriers at Stratford Station. Anyway, let's see what I was charged for that then. I'm dying to know. I haven't checked this yet. So for one station, it was return. So I tapped at Stratford. Then I tapped at Pudding Mill Lane, and after the show, I tapped at Pudding Mill Lane and I tapped at Stratford. So let's see what they charged me. TfL, £3.40. There we go. And that, that's just one charge. Oh, okay. Shall I show you? Hang on, let me see if I haven't got any numbers here, have I? There we are. Hang on a minute, let me just check I haven't got any. I'm going to give you my numbers out here. Look. Can you see that there? You can see it there. TfL travel charge, £3.40. That's a return trip. Oh, so that it must be. I don't know how that works. Then I would have thought maybe it was £3.40. Why haven't I got two charges of £1.60 something? Oh, maybe that's just how it works. So that works quite well. Now I know that works now. Easy peasy. And you come down the stairs. To be honest, there was no one checking tickets at the bottom. You just walked through. And anyone dodgy who knows that, if they hadn't bought a ticket, they wouldn't have got caught, which I found a little bit shocking, really. I would have thought there was someone checking tickets at the bottom, but there isn't. Anyway, so we can't, mind you, everyone's of an age getting off at this platform. I think the only people getting off there were the people for ABBA show. And you come down the stairs, and there it is, across the road. The ABBA venue, the ABBA stadium, or whatever you want to call it. And literally, you come out the station, cross a little road, which is like a service road. There's no cars coming down there, just a few cabs. So it's some sort of service road, it would seem. And you walk over that road, and you're there at the ABBA Stadium. So me and my sister, I sat there. I was there first. I kind of sat down on a stone. It's quite nice around there. Sat down on a stone and waited for my sister and brother-in-law to arrive. And they turned up 5 minutes later, welcoming each other. We had a little look around. Someone was selling stuff out the front. T-shirts. Now, we were going to buy a T-shirt. £35 for a bloody T-shirt with ABBA written on it. I don't think so. Not value for money. No, that's a rip-off. That's a rip-off. £35 for a printed T-shirt. That's outrageous, isn't it? I bet you can get a cheaper one on eBay. So we didn't buy one of those. Then we went in. We got the old search thing. Beep, beep, beep. Stand like that, please. And I do that with that magic wand thing. And ever so nice on the front door. The what do you call them? Not bouncers, are they? You know, security people. Went in there. And then we had a quick look around. There was another shop selling bits and pieces. My sister wanted a program, so we got one of those. Then we had something to eat. I had a vegan hot dog, which was really nice. Little roll. I say little. No, it wasn't little at all. It was fairly large. You know, quite a large. I would say it was a foot long, perhaps. Really nice, very nice. And I had some of those wedges. My sister had a normal hot dog. To be honest, they looked exactly the same. Perhaps they were. I don't know. And they had even had onions on, which is not always done that. So that was really nice. The onions, lovely food. So those three items cost me 20 quid. 2 hot dogs and some chips, which I thought, yeah, that's just about in the amount of I would spend. If it was 25 quid, I wouldn't have bought it. Well, I would have done for my sister, but no, I wouldn't have bought it for myself. You know, there's a limit. There's a line that I don't want to go over. I had a glass of Coke that was £2.50. They bought these 2 metal water bottles with Abba Voyage written over. They were £6.95 for the bottle. But here's the thing, you get them refilled with sparkling water. As soon as you finish, you just take it back and they refill them free of charge, which is really good. I mean, sparkling water don't cost anything. That's all I drink when I'm at work, sparkling water. That's all I ever have when I'm DJing. And we hung around for a little while. We had our photo taken. There's a Voyage, you know, big fat. And we're just about to walk to this. People are having their photo taken. My sister said, "Oh no, there's a queue," and next to her was a bit of a queue waiting for this. I thought, "Oh, we'll come back here in a minute." And then we walked around, and we found another sign like that, and there was no one there. Up a few steps, but I wasn't sure we were allowed up there. So security people are there. I said, "Are we allowed to go up there?" "Yeah, no problem at all." So we went up there and had our photo taken there for the Voyage sign, and then toilets. I wanted to go to the toilet. Not enough toilets in there. I don't think there's enough toilets. I went to the sit-down toilet, and there were 2 of them. 2 of them on one side of the venue. Of course, we didn't look the other side. There was another one on the other side as well. But on this side, there were 2 sit-down toilets, and there was a queue of about 7 or 8 people in there. You know, the ladies' toilet was queuing even more. So I don't think they've got enough toilets in there. But if there was any criticism in there, that was the only one. I have no criticism at all. All the staff are extremely friendly and nice, which is unusual. Don't know if you've ever been in a cinema. What a bunch of miserable gits they are in there. Usually people in there, they don't look like they even want to be working there. Couldn't be more different at the Abba venue. They were friendly, they were warm, they were nice. And excited. They were excited as we were. My sister was wetting herself. She was so excited. So was I, to be honest. And after a while, it comes on the speakers. You know, the venue is now open. We had dance floor tickets. Okay? So we then went along this corridor with lots of pretty coloured LED lights on the ceiling, which changed as you were walking through. And then we got into the venue, and it was just amazing. All these spotlights hanging down, shining down onto the floor and what have you. And we went straight to the front and sat down at the floor, claiming our space, so to speak. And we were in there about 20 minutes, half an hour before the show started, but that was okay. And we just sat there and we're taking in the atmosphere, and it's a wonderful atmosphere in there. The age group of the people was, I would say the average age was about 50. You know, there weren't many young people. There was a few young people in there. We did think that more people would be dressed up in like the Abba. There was a delightful 3 girls I was talking to. They were in all the 1970s gear. There was a couple of gay boys with hot pants on, like shining silver. I don't think I'd get into a pair of those anymore, my loves. You know, we were quite not ordinarily dressed along with most of the other people. But I actually would have liked to have seen a little bit more colourfulness in there. You know what I mean? And the show started about just a few minutes late. They made a point of saying, you know, please no photography or cameras, no cameras or video. If you're seen using it, you will be asked to leave the venue, which is fair enough. Fair enough. And the show started, and it was amazing. They have a live band there as well, playing along to these avatars. A live band, and the show starts, and the four of them come up, like it looks like whether they are or not, I don't know, but they come up from out the stage at the back there, and they turn around, and it is just like having them standing in front of you. It's that good. It really is that good, and one moves in front of the other. It's like I suppose it's like having those 3D glasses on, really. I mean, it really is 3D without the glasses. And, you know, from the top, they've got their own spotlight, 4 spotlights coming down, shining them up. I'm just amazed by this. And then during the course of the night, we have other little things happening, like there's a video show of them going on. There's like this cartoon type thing that's been created on the big screens in front of you there. As I say, we were standing at the front. Now, there is a video that I made at the venue, which you've probably seen already. If not, I think it's the one, it'd be on unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Type that in. We'll bring you to my YouTube page, and I believe it's the show. It'd be the video below this one, okay? And you'll be able to see what I've told you now. You'll be able to see all this, other than the bits of the show, because, of course, we're not allowed to film the show, and I would not do that. I would not try and get a secret filming. They've asked you not to do it. Fine. No problem at all. And they created this cartoon thing of I think it was a Swedish boy, young boy, blonde hair, and he's like doing it's like mythical, like traveling through mythical stuff and all that while they're playing. I think the song they were playing for that was The Visitors, I think. Da 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 da. Or was it the Eagle? No, it might be Eagle or both. Might be both of those. Anyway, so this cartoon's going on all these screens and what have you. And then there's a bit in it, and I'm not spoiling it for you by telling this, because you cannot possibly comprehend what I'm saying here in relation to what we actually saw. And there's a bit where they're going around on these big screens, and they've got like long, luminous things going down them like that, you know, along their arms and on their legs, and they're doing all this. And this goes on for some time, a few minutes, right? And then suddenly, I cannot explain it to you. Suddenly, bang! They're there on the stage again in exactly the same outfits. And it is the most... And I shouted across at my brother-in-law. I shouted, wow! How did they do that? And that was my biggest wow of that night. I mean, there was a lot of wows in there. A lot of wows. But that, for me, was the biggest thing to happen. I think, how on earth... It was just such a spectacular effect. And it only happens once. Right? A lot of the times people make the mistake if they do something really good and they think, oh, I must repeat that again. No, don't. It's a bit like me with the cymbals. If you've ever been to my karaoke nights, I've got cymbals, right? But they only get played a few times in the night. Not like all the time. And people say, oh, can you play your cymbals? No. It's all about the surprise effect. The surprise effect. Yeah? This particular part of it was amazing. So if you go and see the show, when you see the video go up with these long lines, expect something to happen. But I really can't explain to you what it was even. It just went from there to there all of a sudden. And it was done so well. So well. Now and again, I looked across at the band, and they were all very friendly, the band. And whenever they saw someone looking across, they'd give them a nod or something like that. It was a particular song. I can't remember what the song was now, but there was a bongo. It's a bloody fly in here, look. There was a bongo. So whatever song was playing, and there was a little bit of a bongo instrumental there. And I looked across, and there's the lady playing these bongos, and she looked up and saw me. And I'm like that, and she's gone like that. You know, it's nice to be friendly like that. Show is about 90 minutes long. While it was happening on two occasions, I think it was two occasions, I saw security people come in and jump on not jump literally, but jump on someone who had a camera out. I mean, why do they do it? Why do they do it? It's my camera, I'll do what I want. You know, sorry, can you put the camera? They didn't chuck them out, to be fair. Can you put the camera? Oh, yes, sorry, you know. But, you know, everyone looks, and it must be so embarrassing doing that. So embarrassing. Isn't it? Awful. Why do you do it? Because I believe that ABBA people don't want you to do it. It's nothing to do with copyright in this case, right? You know, it's when they upload this stuff. And to be fair, I do this at Barry Manilow concerts, but they allow it there, you know, little clips here and there. But what they would do is then upload it to their various YouTube, Facebook, this, that and the other. People would watch it. And it might be that because you've seen that, when you go and see the show as it is, you might not appreciate it as much because you knew what was coming. Do you see what I mean? And I think that's what that's about. But I have to say, if someone did get a video of the whole show and uploaded it onto the YouTube or the Facebook, I'm sure the ABBA people would be straight on that and take it down straight away. But I have to say, there's no way you can appreciate what's going on in that venue by watching it on the telly. You know, if the BBC ever said to ABBA, oh, we'd quite like to film that for Christmas special or something, I hope they say no, because you cannot appreciate the wonder that has gone into making that show. It's magic. It's absolute magic what they've done with that. And everyone's done. We were on the dance floor, and I'm so glad we were on the dance floor. And we were dancing the whole night. I was dancing. My bleeding feet ached by the time I got to the train again on the way home. Although we were at the front, so stage, band on the left, main stage there, we were here, okay? Now, behind us are things hanging down from the ceiling. And people have told us you're better to stand further back because you can't see the projected images there. Now, as I've been once now at the front, the next time I would absolutely get dance floor tickets again. I don't want to be sitting there watching that. I want to be dancing, moving my fat arse around, knocking people left, right and centre as I jiggle from side to side. Who wants a bit of jiggling today? No, I would stand further back and on the advice of other people and see what else we could see. We came out of there totally elated, along with everyone else. The feeling of happiness as you left that venue was something else, I tell you. Something else. Got to the train station, and of course everyone's trying to get this train at the same time now. So what they've done is put, I think, London Transport staff there at the barriers, and they've got a chain going across, and they let so many people in. Where's this fly cut? Oh, it's probably for the plants over there. They let so many people in, and then they put, you know, they wait for the train. That takes them away. Then they undo the thing again. So we were only the second lot of people. We got to the station fairly quickly. Pudding Mill Lane is the name of the station. And one lot of people had gone in. We got there. We were at the front, really, where the chain is. And it would seem that the dance floor people are able to get out first as well. That's the other thing. If you're sitting down, it takes you long to get out. It's going to take you long to get the train. Now, bear in mind, you know, if you're getting a joint, if you're kind of lining up your underground train, your Dockland Light Railway, with a main line station, say Waterloo, remember the last trains. Do you know what I mean? So you want to get there as quickly as you can, really. So we got through the second one. Dockland Light. My sister got on the other station. They were going in the opposite direction, and we stood opposite. And I was able to wave to my sister and brother-in-law. And again, you know, the atmosphere on the station again was something I've never experienced at an underground station or a Docklands Light Railway. It was such a good atmosphere. Everyone was so happy that we had seen this marvel in front of us. You know, as you well know, I've been to many Barry Manilow concerts. I've sat in the front row and it's been a wonderful night. But there was nothing like this experience. Nothing like it. Amazed. Got on the Docklands Light Railway. Stratford, got off there, got the Jubilee line, again the old noisy Jubilee line, and got to Waterloo Station. As I came up, it was an escalator from the Jubilee line. There's signs, you know, the trains, Reading, looking for the Reading train, and there it is, 10:20. 10:20, next Reading train, right? And there's a clock next to it, 10:19, and I thought, you're going to have to run to get this one. And I got up to the top, and of course I didn't run. I started walking. Remember, I told you the Jubilee line is at one end of the station. The Reading trains are right at the other. It couldn't be any further, right? The very end platform. Okay, so I'm walking quickly, and I got there. There's a lovely girl. I said, "Is that platform 23?" She said, "Yeah, it's just straight up there." I said, "Has it gone?" And she looked up and she said, "Yeah, afraid so." I said, "Oh, it doesn't matter, because the next one's in half an hour's time." So that was fine. So from there, I went over to the shop and I bought a sandwich. No butter on the blooming... I hate that. There's never any butter on the sandwiches you buy here in any of the shops. I don't know why they don't butter the sandwiches from... First of all, I went into the Marks and Spencer's because I quite like their vegan lettuce and tomato sandwich. VLT it's called, but I didn't have any left. So from there I went to W.H. Smith's, and they had some in there. So I bought cheese ploughmans, a packet of crisps, and I bought a cup of tea in Starbucks. They're going cashless, aren't they, Starbucks? Have you seen that? They're going cashless, all of them, from what I gather. So I got that, and I sat on a little bench. I love sitting there at Waterloo Station, watching all the going on. I love it. All the signs flashing up, and then everything moves to the left as the train goes. Everything moves across one, doesn't it? I love it. And the people, the noises, the smells. Love it. Absolutely love sitting at Waterloo Station. And then it was about 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. I thought, well, I'll just walk up and get myself in position. And the train was there. So I kind of walked up to the train, various people milling up to the train, got on, sat down, and... Off I went, really, you know. And after a couple of stops, a lady sat down next to us. Lovely, lovely lady. I started talking to her. And then two other girls there started talking to us as well. So that was really nice. You know, having a bit of a conversation on a train with complete strangers. And that's what we used to do all the time before bloody mobile phones came along. We're staring into no one's talking to each other. And we got into the subject of ages. I said, well, I'm 60. She says, you're not. No, what it was, there were two youngsters on there, and they were pissed. Oh, my God, they were so drunk. So drunk. And that was the opening line, was me. And I said to this lady, I said, I was like that 25 years ago. She laughed. And she said, and how old were you then? I said, 35 years ago, I said to her. I said, she said, how old are you then? I said, about 27, 37, 37, 47, 58, 59, 60. Oh, maybe I said 30 years. Can't remember now. So I said, she said, are you 59? I said, yeah. She said, oh my God. She said, you don't look 59. She said, how old am I? And I looked at her, and she was black skin. And I said, I don't know, 40, 38? And she smiled. She said, I'm 56. Fabulous. And these two girls we started talking about music and concerts, and I said I've been to Abba and all that. Because the girl opposite then she said, are you two on a date? I said, I don't think so, my love. She's the wrong sex for me. And they laughed. She said, where have you been? I said, well, you must have known. I said, I've got an ABBA. Some old puff gone to an ABBA concert. Look. And they're all laughing, aren't they? So we had a good old conversation. They got off at Ascot, so they must have a bit of cash if they're living there. and my station is a little bit further along. And I think I pulled in round about midnight, and I was back indoors about 20 past midnight after cycling to and from the train station. And an absolutely fantastic night. I cannot tell you how fantastic it was. Please go. Tickets, very reasonable. I think £70 were the dance floor tickets. The seated tickets are dearer. You do not need a seated ticket. Unless, of course, you're disabled, and then there'll probably be some sort of concessions, okay, if you have trouble standing or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be concessions for you there. Usually, a lot of these places, if someone's disabled, they usually have a carer. So the carer will pay, and often the disabled person often gets in free of charge. I don't know the setup that Abba have got for that, but I would imagine it's something sort of around like that, all right? So there we go, £74 I think was the ticket. Absolutely money well spent. Money well spent, and my sister wants to go again, and I want to go again. You don't want to do this too quickly, though, you know, because you'd soon get bored if you did the same thing all the time. Highly recommended, and very incredibly easy to get to as well. If I could just show you how... maybe... Have I got the picture still on here? Hang on a minute. I don't know if I've still got the picture on here or not. Of the station. No, I don't think. Oh, well, there's a picture of me and my sister standing at the Abba sign. There we are. Oh, look at me. Look at us all dressed up. There's my sister standing at the Abba sign. I should have put a couple of pictures on here, but you can see them off here anyway, can't you? And there's my brother-in-law and my sister. Okay. Right. And here, this is inside the venue with all the lights and all that. I took this picture. Okay, that's with my back to the audience. So that position, I'm looking at the stage. That's behind me. All right. Is there any other pictures there? There's one of the venue. There we are. That's okay. There you go. Right. So that's inside the station, and where the Abba sign is, that's the venue. That is how close it is. You could throw a stone and it would get to the other side. And there is my very special Abba Voyage wristband, which got us in and out, no problem at all. Great, isn't it, eh? Go. Treat yourself and go one night. It's lovely. All right. Over on the text messaging, hello to Stephen Dagenham. Good evening, Steve. He says, hope you're okay. Hate the noise of my missus eating crisps and rattling the packet. I'm sorry about that. Get her to suck them instead. You have to tell her, no more munching than suck the crisps. Suck the life out of them. Paul in Ashford, for your information, the Victoria line is automatic. Oh, look, has been for many years. Driver does no driving, just sits there. Didn't know that, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Good evening to Peter Lake. Good evening to you, Peter. In Woodall Spa, a very good evening to you, Peter. Welcome along. Let's just pop into the chat box. Ascot, Dan. Ascot is where they have blue tail flies, where everyone else has blue arse flies. Weird City, good evening to you, Weird City. Are they holograms, so they are actually on stage? No, they're not there. It's I don't think they're holograms. It's something else. Honestly, I think it's something else. I'm not quite sure what. They call them avatars, don't they? Avatars. Maybe they are holograms, but they are that good. You think they're just there. They really are fantastic. And the holograms are of when they were in the 70s and 80s. That's the age of what they are on the stage. Right at the very end, however, they've got another 4 holograms or avatars that come on the stage and say thank you. And they are of the age they are now, which is a lovely touch that they have at the end there. Really nice touch there. All right. Weird City is going to check the Abba show. Please go. You won't be disappointed. You look in all the newspapers, all over Facebook, find one negative comment. Can't find one. Not one. And they've been going for a while now, haven't they? All right. Dan says the subsurface district, metropolitan city and Hammersmith lines are all going automatically gradually. And I hope, yeah, good. Good. Then they won't be able to hold us all to ransom anymore, will they? Is that anyone? It's not much. Oh, not a lot of interesting chat going on there tonight, is there? Gosh. Oh well, that's how it is. All right. So we're talking trains there. Okay. Now, how stupid is this? I don't understand the logic behind this. Right? It's appeared in some of the papers already. This is the Daily Express's take on it. Eurostar will stop a popular direct route from the UK next year as it battles to claw back money lost during the COVID pandemic. They're cutting out the direct service to Disneyland Paris. I don't get it. Right? Now, I've been lucky to have been to Euro Disney 3 or 4 times. I've been to Disney in Florida 5 or 6 times. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love the smells, watching the little ones just lapping up the magic. And of course, they still believe it. If 5, 6, 7 years old, you think that Minnie Mouse is actually Minnie Mouse. It's not a person inside a costume. Yeah. I just love it. The smell as you walk through Main Street of all the cakes and things. I don't know what they use, some sort of chemical, I suppose. But it's just wonderful. And out of the two of them, of course, the Florida one is the better one. But Euro Disney is a lot cheaper to go there for a few days rather than to. Well, actually, it's not. It's much dearer to go to Euro Disney, but you would only go there for a couple of days. Whereas if you go to Florida, you need 2 weeks there. And if you average out that probably day by day price, I think you'll probably find the Florida one is cheaper. But this particular train, this Eurostar train, and it's so easy, right? You get on at St Pancras on the train there, and the train goes right the way through, and you get off at what's the name of the station? Something Del Mar in it. Disneyland Paris. The station's got a name. I can't think what it was. It doesn't say, does it? Just call it Disneyland. This Disneyland Paris station, Cher-le-Mar or something like that, the name of the station is. But it's at Disneyland Paris. Right? So you just stay on the train all that time. It takes about 2.5 hours, I think it is. And then it gets to Disneyland. And you get off with your cases and you can walk to the hotel generally. Or they have coaches outside if your hotel's a little bit further out. You literally you can walk to the hotel from there. Amazing. And they're stopping it. Now, I've been on this train 3 or 4 times and it's always packed. I can't see how they're losing money. It's always packed, this train. It says Eurostar has announced it will no longer run a direct train from London to Disneyland Paris, which will be a huge change for families. It's a long-standing connection. It's been running since 1996, this train. Disneyland Paris is an extremely popular destination for those seeking a European city break. It's a beloved spot. Yes, it is, for both children and adults alike, but it's particularly sought after by families. However, those travelling from London to Disneyland Paris may face new challenges getting to the Funfield hotspot. The current direct train is incredibly easy, taking 2 hours and 49 minutes. That's the time. And it tears. It's so fast. So fast, this train. Why have Eurostar made the decision? It says it's revealed it cancelled the route to focus on more popular destinations. As it is understandable for the travel and tourism sector, the Eurostar lost money during the pandemic. Yeah, same as everyone else, mate. Christ, I lost thousands. Couldn't work. Thousands. Closing this direct route route also aims to help mitigate challenges it continues to face through Brexit. So I don't know what things are. Passengers will be able to travel directly between London St Pancras International and Disneyland Paris until June the 5th next year, which is just a great shame. It says, as the business continues to recover, we need to focus on our core routes to allow us to stabilise our operation and customer experience. While we've seen travel demand return this year, we have financial commitments as a result of the pandemic, which we'll continue to face for a number of years. We're also monitoring developments in the EU's proposed entry-exit system, and we want to focus providing reliable service for the experience that our customers must rightly expect. What a shame. What a shame. What it means basically is that you'll have to get off the train. Will get to, I think, Lille, Lille. I think it gets to Lille, and you'll have to change there to get a train onwards to Laval de Cherry or Chessy or something like that. I can't remember the Disneyland Paris station. Most people know where that is. What a shame. It really is. You know. The other thing, of course, if you do go to Disney World, with that station there, all right, you say you go to Disney for a few days, you want a bit of a break from Disney, you can get on the train there and go straight into Paris to the Eiffel Tower. As you know, I'm going there with my niece and her family in October. Not too far away at all, actually. Exactly. What's the date? 1, 2, 3, 4... 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe 6 or 7 weeks. We're going to Disney. And on the first day, I think we're there, I think it's 3 nights we're there. On the first day, we're going to, when we get there, drop the bags off into the hotel, and they want to go and see the Eiffel Tower. And one of the things I've discovered I like doing, and this is ever since I took Jimmy to Florida, it's ever since I took my nephews and niece to and my sister and brother-in-law to Euro Disney some years ago when they were children. Not my brother and sister-in-law. When my niece and nephews were children, as in, I think Gary was 16, I think Tracy was 14, and I think Jimmy was 9 or 10, something around there. I've discovered I quite like to give people experiences as something to do. You know, I really enjoy doing that. You know, and when you go to these places, you can go to Disney World on your own. I did go on my own. I got bored. You know, got bored. When you have someone younger, you see it through their eyes. Completely different. I've discovered I quite like doing this. And on that particular first time we went, I said to them, when you have families, I want to do the same for you. I want to take your families. And so far I've taken Gary and his family a few years ago when Olivia was still with us. Rest in peace. She had her 1 year anniversary actually last week. Was it a week before last? There we are. Week before last, wasn't it? Last year, she's been gone a whole year now, little Olivia, bless her heart. There's the other children there. On the left, that's her brother, Olivia's brother, Harry. Bottom left, on the right-hand pictures. Above him is Evie, that's Olivia's sister. And on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side, that's Emily, bottom right. That's my niece's little girl. Above her is George, my niece's son. And just to the left there is little James, who's 5 now. Oh, is that James or Frank? Oh, actually, I think that might be Frank. Do you know, I can't quite see with my eyes here. Hang on a minute, let's put that there. No, I do think that's no, I think that's James. I'm sure that's James in that picture. Yeah, because that picture's quite old. Yeah, that's James there. There we are. Anyway, so we've all been once now. You know, they've been once, and now it's my niece's turn. And in a few years' time, hopefully I'll take my nephew Jimmy and his family. Well, he's got one at the moment, but I don't know if there'll be another one coming along. I haven't asked. I'll find out next week for you. And I'll report back here live and exclusively. Not intending to have any more there. All right. Paul in Ashford says, just bought 3 tickets for ABBA. What, from my say-so? I should be on a bleaking commission here. Did you get the dance floor ones, Paul? I hope you got the dance floor ones. And talking of this holiday thing there, of course, we go from St Pancras Station, and that's on a Sunday. We go on a Sunday, right? Normally, I say normally, last time when I took my nephew and his family, we went on a Monday. I think we went on a Sunday because it was cheaper. And my niece is very good at finding a cheap rate. She will look. She won't just accept a price somewhere. She will then start doing research and finding a cheaper way to do whatever I have offered. She's really good like that. Really good like that. And with my niece, same as me. There won't be any upgrades or anything like that going on, right? She just wants the basic thing. Because at the end of the day, you don't spend an entire week in your hotel, do you? You're out doing stuff. Paul in Ashford has bought seats. Knees too old to stand for 2 hours. Oh, come on, Paul. Stand up and have a dance. How much were the seated tickets? I think they're over 100. Am I right in saying that? And when are you going, Paul? Let us know. All right. So, what I did last time is I booked a couple of Premier Inns in King's Cross. Very reasonable. They weren't expensive at all. Really not at all. I think it came to about £150 for the 2 rooms, maybe less than that. And this is a few years ago, right? So that would have been for Gary, my nephew Gary, his wife, and the 3 children at the time. Right? They're in one room, me in another room. And as luck would have it, I mucked up a little bit, and I think I booked 2 separate hotels because they got 2 Premier Inns in King's Cross. But reasonable price, you know what you're getting in a Premier Inn, yeah? You know exactly what you're going to get when you open that door. And it's there, exactly as you expect. So I said to my niece, well, book the hotel, let us know how much it is and all that. Anyway, so it was Saturday, I think, and she sent me this message. She rang me up. She says, I'm trying to book this hotel. She said, do you know how much they want? And I thought, oh, gosh, this is going to be like 250 quid or something like that. Ha! And the rest, over £600. 1 room, 2 rooms in Premier Inn hotels for 1 night in October. I'm like, you're joking. She said, no. She said, I've tried. I said, did you, by any chance, did you type in any other hotel? She said, yes, they're all like that in King's Cross. So she had already done other research and she discovered that we could get a Premier Inn in Hampstead, which is about 2.5 miles away from King's Cross. So walkable, really, but there's a tube as well. And that halves the price. But still, £300 for 2 rooms for 1 night. Jeez. Anyway, as you know, I work in Central Station, which is in King's Cross. And I rang up my mate there, and we'd already been having a conversation about hotels in King's Cross the other week. And I said, my niece has just tried to book hotels in King's Cross. She said, and I said, they want 640 odd quid for 2 rooms. He said, yeah, that'd be right. I said, what, for 1 night? He said, yeah. He said, is it a Saturday by any chance? I said, yes. He said, well, that's part of your problem, the fact that you're doing it on a Saturday. Right? In fact, and it's not like they can't sell the rooms, because one of these hotels was full up. It said, no rooms available. So it's not like they're not selling them. 640, that is extortionate. It's a basic hotel Premier Inn. Clean, nice, tidy, but basic. It's not Claridge's. It's not Mandarin Oriental. Shocking. We were shocked. Anyway, so she booked the one in Hampstead, and we'll either walk, which is perfectly all right. My niece won't take an awful lot of luggage. She travels light, the same as me. I don't understand these people. They go on holiday, cases of stuff. My mate's like that. He's got a case just for his bleeding moisturisers and all that. What's he call it? Toiletries. He's got a whole little case of toiletries. I've got one little case. Where's the rest of your stuff? It's in here. Well, what if you want to go out? Well, it's all in here. And my niece is the same. She won't have a lot of stuff to take. So we could walk. We might just get the tube. It's a 3-minute walk to Belsize Park tube station, apparently. And I think it's a 9:30 train or something like that. I don't know. They haven't sent through those tickets yet. 9:30 train or something like that, and then we'll get there. Well, if it's a 9:30 train, I'd give it an hour and a half because I don't know. Presumably they have passport control there now because we're not in Europe anymore. So I'm guessing somewhere along the route we've got to go through passport control. I've got my new black passport, as you well know, darlings. That's all well. Fortunately, you don't need any yellow fever injections or anything like that. Ain't it expensive, though? Shocking. Anyway, we got a room in two rooms in Hampstead, Hampstead Premier Inn for 300 quid. That's the best we could do, really. Shocking, isn't it? Shocking. Paul in Ashford, £88 each. October the 23rd, Sunday afternoon, 25 minutes on the high-speed one up to Stratford. There you are. How easy is that? Paul, you're going to have a wonderful time. You will have a wonderful time, I'm telling you now. I've got to say hello to Reese tonight. Good evening to you, Reese. I know you sent this an hour ago, but you did it on the old email, didn't you? I've kind of stopped doing the emails. Not very rarely do people use the email, and plus I kept forgetting to look. Sorry about that. So hello to you, Reese. Welcome to the show there. Adam's it's Adam the plumber. Good evening, Adam. Adam the plumber is in the house. He said the price of things is going through the roof these days. The other day, coming back on the plane from honeymoon, he bought 2 cans of Coke and 2 chocolate bars, £18. What airline is that? That sounds like an EasyJet or Ryanair to me. Let me just repeat that from Adam the plumber. He's just got married. He bought 2 cans of Coke and 2 chocolate bars, £18 on a plane. Shocking. Hello to Built in Scotland. Hello to you. George, when are you going to Lincolnshire next week? Oh, you're very quiet on here today. Very quiet on there. EasyJet. There you go. EasyJet. Take your own food. Are you allowed to take your own food on? As a matter of interest. Are you? I don't know if you are or not, actually. Some places won't let you bring it through, will they? Or is that the other end? Once you get there, because when I've gone to Australia before, they don't like you to take a lot of food in. You're best to just dump it on. What happens in Australia? The plane lands, and then bloke, one of the boys or girls, comes around with a bag and says, "If you've got any fruit, let's take it off you here, and you can just leave it all with them." You know, some countries they have different restrictions about bringing food in and all that business. There's Reese. Hello to you, Reese. All right. Yeah, bought it on the air side. Okay. So you can buy your own food there. Thank you, Adam the plumber. What else have we got here? Do I work for the council? Oh, you're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. You know how I feel about the litter. We touched on this earlier on. Feel about people, disgusting, filthy, dirty peasants dropping their cans and crisp packets and things like that all over the place. So I'm doing a litter pick last week. Saturday, this is. And I'm going up the road. My usual Saturday route. I got about halfway up, I suppose. I'm doing some stuff. I crossed over the road. And there's this bloke. About the same age as me, I would imagine. But short, fat, and a bald head. Well, mind you, that's me, innit? You know. Like, you could say that's me. But a bit fatter, glasses. And I'm quietly picking this stuff up. Excuse me, mate. I looked over. Yeah. Do you work for the council? No, I don't work for the council. Volunteer, mate. There's quite a few of us doing this. Anyone with a red bag is a volunteer. Oh, right. Only there's a load of litter down here in the in the gutter. And so this is the road. And there's a grass bit here, and down here are houses, yeah? And you get down the road from that road there. That road there goes round, and there's cars parked along here, okay? So I'm up, he's down. There's a load of... Oh, right, okay. And he said, right. And he's looking at me thinking I'm going to go down and pick up this trash. So I noted that he had a silver car, S-I-L-V-A, silver van written on the side. Now, I happen to know that these are something to do with housing, something to do perhaps with, I don't know what they call them, you know, those like charity houses, what are they called? Housing association. I think it might be something to do with housing association or council, something to do with housing, right? I said, do you live down there then, mate? He said, yeah, we live there, next to the rubbish. I said, well, why don't you just pick it up then? He went all quiet, and then he went into one, didn't he? Oh, well, I was only asking you. I said, I suppose it's the council's fault. Well, the council should come at... Yeah, that's right, mate. Just blame the council for it all. That's it. Blame the council and the government for everything. And he starts shouting. I just put my headphones on and walked off. And his wife was with him as well, telling him to shut up. Why don't you pick it up then? I said... Well, it's true, isn't it? I can't believe how people are quite happy to have rubbish outside their own houses and they won't pick it up because it ain't mine. Because it ain't mine. Nothing to do with me. It ain't mine. I told him. Why don't you pick it up then, mate? I told my friend Vera from Vera's Choice in the morning on the phone. I was straight on the phone to Vera. She was wetting herself. She was wetting herself. She said it sounds like something out of a comedy show. And actually, now that I think about it, it would look like that from someone. Pick it up yourself, bleeding cheek. No, won't touch it, will they? They won't touch it. I tell you what, that nappy I picked up today would still be there in 2 weeks' time. If I'm going up to the Luxury Waterside Media Centre, otherwise known as the Rusty Old Caravan, if I'm going up there, right, I have before left this road, got up the road, seen a can at the side of the road, right? Okay? Carried on, gone to work, gone up to Lincolnshire, come back home 5 days later, gone down that same bit of road, and guess what? The can is still there. I do wonder what it would be like if I and the other people didn't do this. What would it be like? There's an argument that I've heard before saying, well, why don't you just leave it? Because eventually people will get fed up seeing it and pick it up. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I don't want to live in a dump. It's as simple as that. Don't want to live in a dump. Oh, can't be bothered. Oh, it's council. Council needs to do that. Always. What do you think the council has come round to your house, emptied a bin and then driven off again? Don't think so. So how is that the council's bleeding fault? We pay our rates. Well, you need to pay more then, don't you, to get them to come round and clean it up? Dear me. Moaning and moaning and moaning all the time. Text here from Paul. Cost of living crisis. Wait until next year when the iPhone 14 launches. Then we see how poor people are. You're so right. You're so right, Paul. All these people, they've got no money to eat. They smoke, they drink, they got Sky Television, they got PlayStation 4. You know, we get a payment soon, don't we all? Part of this £400 payment. So I believe that's going on to your electric and gas bills, isn't it? Something like, is that how it works? Because you don't want to be putting that into people's bank accounts. You know what they're like. Or £100. Or how? I hope it probably won't be that cold this winter. I'll go out and buy, I don't know, another PlayStation game. Oh, I'll be able to go out back to McDonald's for a few times, and that's it. It's gone. Because that's what people are like. They decide what's the money's going to be spent on. If you want it to help people on their electric and gas bills, you've got to pay it to the electric and gas people. That's how it is. And this is not going to get any better. I honestly don't think this is going to get any better. We're going to see these sky-high prices that at some point they will stop going up. I'm sure they will. But I think the level that we're paying, or we're going to be shortly paying from October for the electric and gas, that's here, that's it. That's what it's going to be from now on. It's terrible. Terrible. And if that's not bad enough for you and me, these little businesses, there's no limit. They don't have a ceiling. They ain't got Ofcom or whatever it is, off energy or whatever they're called, sealing their bills. That can go right up. None of these pubs are going to survive. Fish and chip shops, we've seen all that on the telly. Me and my mate, we just go out once a month now instead of every week. £25 a bleeding time. You know, £25 for fish and chips, or we go and buy a great big packet of posh chips, McCain chips from Sainsbury's for £4. And there's 3 or 4 portions in that great big bag. Why would I spend £25, you know? There's still savings to be made. I discovered an electrical saving this week, I'm very pleased to say. Yes. So my communications in here, I've got a router in here. There's a cable that goes downstairs to a box, which is like a splitter, okay? So an Ethernet box goes from here downstairs to the living room, a little Ethernet box, which is plugged into the mains, little green flashing lights, separate the signal to the telly, the DVD player, which I never bleeding use, to be honest. I don't know why it's even plugged in. DVD player and sound bar, I think, and something else. That's all downstairs, right? But I thought, and my telly and stuff downstairs is on a smart plug. So when I finish watching the telly, I say Amazon TV off, and it cuts all the power to that socket. The TV, the soundbar, the DVD player, and everything else. Except the little box, the little switch box. I suddenly thought the other day, hang on a minute, you only ever use the stuff plugged into that switch box. So I thought, well, I better check what's going where. And that went to the telly, that went to the soundbar, that one goes to the Hive. The Hive. What's the Hive? That's how I control my heating and hot water through an app. So that one has to stay on, really. But I thought, well, hang on a minute, maybe I can take that upstairs and just plug that in and not have the switch box on. So I unplugged it, I brought it up here, and I have a, well, funny enough, all 4 sockets on my router have got a plug-in of some sort. So I followed these wires, one of which goes into the bedroom and goes nowhere. It's just a plug on the floor. It's not plugged into anything. So I unplugged that in the router, plugged my Hive in there, switched it all on. That works fine. And now I've plugged my little switch box into the sockets that go on and off with the telly. So there's always finding little other ways to save money. And I've managed to actually reduce my electric and gas bill quite a lot. I don't have any lights come on around the house anymore. That's all solar lights. And when I say solar lights, not the cheap trash that you buy in bleeding DIY places. This is the Solar Centre. These are made for the UK climate. And I've got some of those up now, 2 of those. One at the back, one at the front, 3 of them, and one at the side. And they work through sunlight. So I used to have the lights on all round the house all night long. None of those come on anymore. No fairy lights, nothing like that. It's a shame, really, but when you think about it. You know the opening film that I've got with a bit in the garden where you see the fairy lights around the outside of the wall? They don't come on anymore. In fact, I think they're even cut now. I think I went through the cable when I was edge cutting. How many people do that, eh? How many people do that? John says you're getting like Victor Meldrew, but you're right. What about the rubbish and all that? Oh, it's awful. People are just awful. People are awful. And I tell you, talking of awful people, you want to say I don't know if they're cheap rooms at the village gym where I go to, the cheap village gym and hotel. Trashy people up there. Now, you know they're trashy people because the car park is littered with crap. People drop in, buying Starbucks, drinking it, because there's a Starbucks in the hotel, so that's where it's coming from. They drink that and just chuck it out the car window into the car park. Trashy people who do that. I must have a look at it. I bet they're cheap rooms up at that village hotel. Must be. Must be. Anything else happening here? Weird City, I won't have my gas on. I will wear 3 jumpers. I'm not paying all that. Well, I already wear jumpers, Weird City. Oh, I have done for some time during the winter. It's on the telly. It struck home on the telly the other morning when they were saying half the problem is that people have been walking around in T-shirts and shorts. Now, I know my mate, and when he was his other half, we finished with his other half about over a year ago now. But when I used to go round there on a winter's night, you go in and immediately, as soon as this door opened, you walked in, you were hit with this wall of heat. And the pair of them are walking around in shorts and a T-shirt. You know, we never did that as a kid. I think people have got used to doing that. They have the heater full on. They have the heat on in every single room, including the bedroom where they're not there all day long. And I think this is a lot of the problem. I do wonder sometimes, has someone quite high up decided to put all these bills up to force people to use less? I do wonder that. The same with the petrol. How are they doing this? Is someone doing this to force us to use less? Because there's an awful lot of waste out there. I could probably come into many of your homes. You say, I don't know how to cut my bills and all that. I said, well, what's that light? Why are there 2 lights on there? Why is that over there? And stuff like that. And if the answer is, well, I want that on, then why have you asked me to come in then? You know? I was, funnily enough, saying to my sister, whenever I go around there, I can spot stuff that's on, and I think, why is that on? You don't say anything because the answer you'd get would be, but I like that on. She's got this smelly thing on with steam. My mate's got one as well. He's got several. These little things that you put stuff and steam's coming out. Well, it's on all the time, you see. That's using electricity. It's using electricity, but she wants that on, so, But if you want me to come round and have a look in your house, I could probably come into your houses and see loads of stuff that's on. You've got a microwave on, have you? Got a little clock on it, is it? Why is that on? Why have you got that clock on it? Don't need it on. Do you have a look at that for the time? Don't need it on. So much stuff. TV's plugged in on standby. Computer monitors. I was talking to my mate the other day. He's got computer. And I was saying to him, oh, yeah, all my computers are on smart plugs now. And I say computers off and it cuts the power completely to all my equipment, including the 2 monitors with the adapters on. He said, yeah, but they're not on. I said, but they are. The screen might not be on, but that monitor has probably got a little adapter, probably in line or at the plug end, right? All the time that's plugged in and switched on at the plug, it's using electricity, and you're not even using the damn thing. And he said, oh, I'll have to check that out then. Yeah, too. Always happy to help. Always happy to help. Jason, no heating on here until the ice is on the inside of the windows. Well, do you need it on even with the ice on the inside of the windows? Lots of people have got these smelly things that they plug in, all using electric. Yeah, but that's only 1.5 watts. Yeah, 1.5 there, 1.5 there, 1.5 there. Now add it all up. Add it all up. But you can't tell people. They just do what they want. Paul in Ashford was puzzled to see a story in a paper about an old lady having to go to the library to keep warm as she cannot put the heating on. Strange that since April no one has needed heating to be on. No, it hasn't. It must be an old story, surely, Paul. Maybe it's an old story, I don't know. But indeed, my church, St. Joseph's in Bracknell, the priest there was saying, we've just had the roof redone on the hall that got blown off in the storm. And he's saying he intends to open the church hall 7 days a week from early morning. So anyone who's can't afford the heating, just come into the hall. It's actually, if it's like here, if I decided to have 10 people in all day and they all gave me £1, that would do for all us heating for the day. They wouldn't have to have the heating on. The more people you've got in a room, of course, the less it costs you. I mean, I am on my own in a 3-bedroom house. I certainly don't have the heating on in that spare room. I have it on like frost setting, you know. I don't know what we're all going to do. I just think that those new bills are as they are now, and that's it. It's not going to come down again, I don't think. All right. Where are we here? Hotel ripoff. How about a nice glass of toilet water for you? Are you liking the sound of that, maybe? If I can find a damn story. Where is it now? There we go. This is in the Metro. The Metro. See if you like the sound of this. Toilet water could soon be recycled from our toilets into delicious drinking water. Anyone fancy some toilet water to drink? Of course, it's kind of going on already that, you know, they take the water out of the river, don't they? And they put it through all these filters. Well, I mean, a lot of wee in the river, isn't there? And other bits and pieces, and it's recycled. When you think about it, the clouds do that anyway. We just use a different method to do that. You know, the clouds, the water is sucked up into the sky, makes clouds, is filtered and comes back down as clean rain, doesn't it? Although I gather there's some chemicals. I think the pill has got a chemical in it, and it that doesn't break down in rain, so it comes back down. We're all taking the pill, dear. It says, yes, toilet water could soon be recycled from our toilets into delicious drinking water. It might sound far-fetched, but water companies are apparently flush with ideas at solving droughts of the future. Toilet-to-tap systems, as they're known, would see toilet water deposited into rivers near treatment plants. It can then be collected and turned into drinking water in a process that could be ready by 2030. Let's hope we're all still here to enjoy that. Hey? Why should all the children have all the fun? Well, I want a glass of that. According to the head of the Environment Agency, people need to start being less squeamish about drinking water reprocessed from sewage. Writing in the Sunday Times, Sir James Bevan said, it might be unpopular, but it's perfectly safe and healthy and would help protect the UK's water supply. Sir James called for a change in the way we think about water and treat it as a precious resource, not as a free good. He wrote, we need to remember where it comes from, that when we turn on the tap, what comes out started in a river, lake or aquifer. The more we take, the more we drain these sources and put stress on nature and wildlife. It's awful, isn't it? And people waste it. I'm very careful with stuff. All of it. Water, electric, gas. You know. I try and wash up in cold water. I don't. The dishwasher only goes on once or twice a week, really. Generally, pots and pans, I wash them again because I use them quite quickly. You know. I used 2 pots and pans this afternoon. They're washed and ready to be used again. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner yet. I haven't had my dinner yet. I fancy a pizza, but I haven't got any. I'm certainly not going to order one and be delivered for £25. Thank you very much. No, I don't think so. Don't think so. What can I have today? Shall I have a pot noodle or beans and something? Beans on burgers? What else have I got in there? I don't know. You all right drinking a nice toilet water? No, thank you very much. Sea turtles. Imagine some of these little creatures as little friendly creatures. Sea turtles. What they must be like tortoises, aren't they? Think they like tortoises? This is in the Sun. A horrified tourist said she thought she was going to drown when on a sea turtle attacked her while she was swimming on holiday. They attacked her. A sea turtle. I thought they were quite gentle creatures. Didn't you? I know they're quite big. I just imagined turtles were like gentle, sort of plant-eating creatures. Well, not according to this. This lady, 64, was 10 foot from the shore when the creature sank its sharp beak into her bum and then dragged her underwater. Gosh. She's Russian, pensioner. She needed hospital treatment after the terrifying attack at a resort in Turkey. So it's not even far. Some of you go there, don't you? Turkey. I wasn't expecting anything. I was really close to shore, some 3 or 4 meters, when it just turned onto my back and lay. Oh, hang on a minute. I wasn't expecting. I was really close, some 3 or 4 meters, when I just turned onto my back and laid like this. Then something grabbed my backside. It was really scary. Well, I wish that would happen to me. Well, it used to in clubs. Not anymore. Oh, well. I didn't know what it was that suddenly grabbed me. I was beating about the water with my arms. I was drowning. The creature let me go, only to grab me with an even stronger bite. I don't know how long it lasted. The tourist hugged her daughter for comfort, as she explains. Luckily, a rescuer man saw me. He rushed at me and started to yell at the creature. I guess it switched its attention to the rescuer. Freed from the huge sea turtle's grasp, she made for the beach in a state of deep shock. I should think you would do, because you wouldn't. I don't think you'd expect that from a turkey, from a turtle, would you? You just wouldn't expect it. Crocodile, yes. Snake, yes. Great big blooming spider with 8 legs, yes. Turtle, no. Wouldn't expect it. But this is what happened. She said, freed from the huge sea turtle's grasp, she made for the beach in a state of deep shock, and the rescuer then battled the beast, eventually scaring it away. She said, I raced towards the shore. I don't know how he was, but his arm is broken. I was fighting my pain and my fear. She suffered wounds on her bum, hip, legs and fingers from the sharp beak and powerful jaw. She now finds it hard to sit comfortably. Oh, dear. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to get back in the sea. You see, I don't like going in the sea. Especially not, you know, all that, loads of sewage goes in the sea. Nice, clean, I say clean swimming pool. They're all in there, all the kids, aren't they? What can you do? Anyway, she was very lucky for that, weren't she? I never ever thought, like, I don't know, a turtle would attack someone. But there we go. That's how it is. Anyway, that's it tonight, boys and girls. Thank you very much for joining us on our little show this evening. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I. Can you hit the like button on the way out, if you don't mind, my darlings? Can we have a few little likes on there? We're a bit slacking in likes. Incidentally, TikTok numbers are up. Now, someone else has told me you only need 800 to go live. A lot of people said 1,000. A couple of people are telling me 800. So if it's 800, I've only got about another 50 to go now, or 40, and then I'll be able to do my radio show on TikTok, which I'd like to do. Anyway, thanks very much to those of you that took the time and trouble to send us a message in. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I'll be back with you at Reach on Air tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, okay? Listen on your smart speaker. All you've got to do is say Amazon Play radio station Reach on Air. In fact, DJ Coolio, Liam, is with you this evening at 12 o'clock, also on that station. Okay, my darlings. Another show for you this time next week, 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. Good night now.